Good morning, friends. Sorry I didn't post a video yesterday. I was too busy rejoicing in the fact that I'm making tens of thousands of dollars because I'm not an idiot and I bought Bitcoin way back when. And the reason I bought Bitcoin is because I enjoy freedom. The freedom to do whatever the I feel like doing today. And I understand you really can't be free in this country. You know, you've been fed the lie that America is the freest country that's ever existed. It's a lie. It's a lie. I mean, just take a look at your own life. I dare you to take a week off from work, see what happens. Take a week off, see what happens. You need a minimum of 4 weeks of working like a dog just to be able to pay your rent and all your other car insurance. I mean, most of you are drowning in debt like wet dogs with short legs. You can't swim. The illusion, the fantasy that this country has taught you for all these years that you're free to do whatever it is you want to do. Really? Go to the park today in your car. Pull out your beef and start stroking and see what happens. No, because it's a free country, right? We're living in a free country. Pull out your beef at the park, in your car, not even outside, inside the comfort of your car. Pull it out, start stroking, see what happens. You gotta be looking over your shoulder. I do it all the time. Gotta be looking over my shoulder just in case anybody's around. God forbid a police officer catches you. My friend, you're going to jail. And all because of why? Because you believe the lie that this country is a free country. It's a lie. So you try to exercise your freedoms at the park. Just a simple guy. I'm just a simple guy stroking my beef at the park, exercising my freedoms. I'm an American. I pay my taxes. That could get you arrested for a week or two. And then, you weren't able to go to work for a week or two. Now you're behind on all your bills. You can't pay your credit card debt. You can't pay your car payment. You can't pay rent. Next thing you know, you're homeless. On the streets like a worthless mutt. A good-for-nothing dog. All because you decided to believe the lie that this is a free country. Now you gotta pay the consequences, my friend. This is the reality we're dealing with here in this country. It's an illusion. It's a lie. Believing this lie is very dangerous, my friend. There could be a lot of heavy consequences you can pay for believing these lies. And the funny thing is, the lies are endless. It's like an endless supply of lies from the government and the deep state. You can't even, I talk about stroking your beef at the park. That might be a little bit excessive for some of you people. But you can't even take a hot, long piss right outside your apartment on the sidewalk that you paid for with your tax dollars. The government, they come and they pillage all the money from your paycheck for tax reasons. We need it for infrastructure. Well, we need your tax dollars, so we can build the sidewalks. Okay, no problem. No problem. Take my money. You build the sidewalks, very nice sidewalks. So now I can't piss on the sidewalk. Why not? I mean, I paid for it. No. You're going to jail. And then not only are you going to jail, now you're a registered sex offender. You see, because now you're a registered sex offender, you can't even live here anymore. I live a couple blocks away from a school. You got to go live under a bridge, mister. Oh, yeah, you got to go live under a bridge. How about you go piss under the bridge now? Piss boy. That's how the government feels about people like you. So it's the reason why I didn't post a video yesterday, because I was celebrating the fact that Bitcoin is skyrocketing. And every time Bitcoin skyrockets, I get closer and closer to my dream of packing my bags and moving back to where I came from. I'm going to a land where there's a lot of thick women walking around. And when they walk, everything just wibbles and wobbles and wibbles and wobbles. And they're all poor. They're all poor. And they're waiting for a guy like me to come around, Mr. Big Bucks, to come around and just, take me for dinner. And their stomach is growling like a pit bull. And I might take them out for dinner or I might not. I don't care. You see, in a third world country like the Dominican Republic, you can get away with murder. You can do. So that's really a free country. You see what I'm talking about? That's really a free. I know this guy. He's a Jewish guy, by the way, older guy, and he's been going back and forth to the Dominican Republic. Me and him talk because he knows I'm Dominican. He's been going back and forth for the past 30 years to this country, and every year he goes at least 7 times. So his life revolves around going back to this country. Why? I asked him why. He's like, he just enjoys the freedoms. And he told me a story of him, he was driving around his car. He had a 20-something year, this guy's like about 70. He had a 20-something-year-old Dominican, a thick Dominican, sitting on his lap while he was driving. And she was facing him, and she was drinking a beer. He told me he had a gun on the dashboard. He had another girl on the passenger seat, and she was drinking beer. She was frolicking around, listening to music, and he was zooming down the street, and he was talking on his phone. Of course, the police officer saw him, and he stopped him. And he told me, the police officer said, "Hey, man, come on, man. You know you're not supposed to be on the phone while you're driving." So, out of everything that he was doing, I mean, think about it. You have a girl on your lap, zooming, you're speeding down the street. And the only thing the cop had a problem with was the fact that he was talking on the phone while he was driving. Try doing that here, my friend. You're going to jail. Straight to jail. Going to jail. And the saddest part of it all, not only are most of you slaves, but most of you have been conditioned so much to being a slave that you don't even realize you're a slave. You think to yourself, I'm not a slave. Because in your little pea brain mind, you think, well, a slave is like a black guy with shackles and chains. You think a slave is Kunta Kinte. My nigga, you are Kunta Kinte. Wake up. From this point on, realize that your name is Kunta. And your last name is Kente. You're here in America believing all the lies you've been told. And you go by whatever name your whole ass mom gave you. That's not your real name. Your real name is Kunta Kinte. Or Jabari Matumbo. Or whatever other slave name. That's who you really are. You're a slave to the system, mister. So it's best you wake up as soon as possible. Because life just zooms right past by you. Next thing you know, it's 2030. And guess what? 2030, I won't be here anymore. I'm going to be in the yacht scratching my nuts. And I might pull up to shore sometimes, just so I can intermingle with the people. And people might notice my voice and say, "No Face 11, is that you?" Nah, playboy, that's my slave name. Don't call me by my slave name, loved one. I'm going to be a completely different person by 2030. Might change my name to Beige Dick. Why? Because I have a beige dick. Why else? My dick and balls are the color beige, so that might be my new name. I don't care about anything anymore. I'm just going to be an eccentric billionaire on a yacht. And the way I got there is because I understood that everybody here in America by default is a slave. You're born a slave to the system, and I refuse to be a slave to the system. So when I found something, Bitcoin, the only asset in this planet that can break and unleash the shackles that have been holding you back and making you and forcing you to be a slave, I put all my faith in it. And because of that, I'm free to be around a lot of third world women with thick booties that just wibble and wobble. And we're all on a yacht. And they don't ever have to return home because they're poor and who cares? And there's a lot of baby oil and there's a lot of smells. And there's a lot of happiness. So I'm going to ask you one last time. When are you going to finally break the chains that are keeping you hostage to the system? When are you going to finally say enough is enough? And strike back your massa. And run off into the corn and cotton fields. So he can never see you ever again. I took the leap of faith and I ran off into the cotton fields. And Massa, I got a message for you, Massa, if you listen. I ain't never gonna come back one more game. I promise you that, Massas. You ain't never gonna seize me again. I got Bitcoin, fun.